Well, the problem is, as you know, for years it kept dropping interest rates, and now Powell's raising it. The real problem is the bond market's crashing. And the bond market is systemic, as you know. I mean, I'm concerned about IRAs, pension plans, and all that. So this is more than I'm concerned, should I say. And, thank you for all these years letting me come on your program and say, buy silver, buy gold. Because when it first started coming on, I think this was $3 and this was $50. And now it's 2,000. It didn't get any bigger, Neil. Still. Now, the thing that I see is that the Fed and the FDIC are signaling hyperinflation, which makes gold and silver even better because this thing here is trash. They're going to print more and more of this fake money. And that's what the Fed and the FDIC is signaling. We're going to print as much of this as possible to keep the crash from accelerating. But they're the guys who are causing it. Well, they have to bail out now, which is not quite legal anymore. But as I said, they're going to print more and more of this stuff, and it makes this stuff gold. And I think this is the best investment of all, is silver, because every Tomahawk missile has 30 pounds of silver in it. Every time they push that missile button, 30 pounds of silver disappears. So we're in serious trouble. And the Fed and the FDIC are signaling we're going to do whatever it takes, and that means print more of this stuff here. Well, let me say it again. The problem is the bond market. And my prediction, I called Lehman Brothers years ago, and I think the next bank to go is Credit Suisse. And if that happens, Japan.
Because of its exposure to a lot of this?
Yes, because the bond market is crashing. All those bonds, let's say you're getting paid 5% for a bond and it goes to 10%, the 5% bond crashes. And the bond market is much bigger than the stock market, as we know. So Absolutely. The Fed is the problem, and they're what they say, the firemen and the arson. No, and that's why I said the biggest problem, as you know, is the bond market, which is the biggest market in the world. And all the countries of the world are in U.S. bills, T-bills and T-bonds. And we had the BRICS nations coming up, and they hate us, and they might switch to the Chinese gold, yuan. So we're in serious trouble. The U.S. dollar is losing its hegemony in the world right now. So, and they're going to print more and more and more of this, trying to keep this thing from sinking, because our debt to GDP is over 130. And every time they raise those interest rates, America's taxpayer gets hammered. And my concern is the pensions are in trouble because they're loaded with bonds also. And my generation, the boomers, we're starting to retire. So this is the perfect storm in many ways. So like I said again, I think the Fed and the FDIC signaled they're going to print again, which makes stocks good, but this little silver coin here is still the best. It's $35, So I reckon anybody can afford $35, and I'm concerned about Credit Suisse.